Welcome to Born to Be Brave podcast YouTube channel. And we're so excited for Scott Garcia to be our guest today. I'll tell you a few things about Scott and then I'll let him introduce you and then we'll get started with the interview. But I met Scott. Did I meet you at in Tucson, like
In
south of Tucson?
Tucson with Pace, yeah, at
Yeah.
the
At the
Subto fund.
grand opening, we both invested in an apartment building in the Subto fund together. So we were both there at the grand opening. And then you were a world championship. You won the gold. Is that what is that?
Yeah, gold in grappling at the World Championship. I also won silver and 3 bronze medals in sambo wrestling, grappling, hand-to-hand fighting, a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah,
That's exciting. And then you went to BYU Hawaii, right? Which I went
yeah,
to BYU Hawaii a long time
yeah.
ago, which I didn't remember that we both had that in common. And then what do you do now? And how did you like growing up and stuff? Like, were your parents investors and they owned like a big portfolio? Or how did you go from being a kid and growing up and then wrestling in college and all that
Yeah.
and fighting to getting involved in real estate? Like, how did you make that leap? I'm always interested in that.
Yeah, so my dad got me started in judo when I was 3 years old. He got started in judo in Los Angeles. Him and his 4 brothers like to fight in the neighborhood a lot. So my grandpa's like, all right, if you guys like to fight, let's put you in organized fight. So my dad's Japanese judo coach is like, oh, I remember the day your dad and his big brothers all came in because my dad's like 6'3" and big guy. And so they're pretty well known through California. They, won a lot of tournaments and my dad was on the Air Force judo team. But him, growing up poor, he didn't like he would beat national champions at the local tournaments, but those guys had the money to go to the tournaments and my dad didn't. So he created opportunities for me since, he had missed out when he was a kid. So, we go to the nationals every year and I won my first national championships when I was 10. But my dad always said he wanted me to learn how to sell. And he was always training me to be a businessman. And so he would have me selling, chocolates for judo, raffle tickets for, like a big cow, a thing, side of beef. I remember we had to sell
You
candies.
sold a cow.
Yeah, with a raffle. Yeah, he made me sell everything, judo stationery. And I'm like, I hated it, but I was good at it. But sometimes, being a kid, I'm like, man, and when I'm an adult, if any kid ever asks me to buy anything, I'm gonna buy it. So if a kid asks me to buy things, all right, yeah, I'll buy it from him because I remember that feeling when I was a kid. Like, man, I'm just a kid. No, it's only $1 for the stationery. Give me a break. But and then I went to the Air Force Academy. I got a scholarship to wrestle. Um, and so while I was there, I joined my church,
Where
uh,
did you join the church?
and when I was attending the Air Force Academy preparatory school,
Mm-hmm.
and then
What
yeah,
church did you join?
Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so yeah, I went on a mission 2 years later from there, but yeah, I wrestled for them and uh yeah, I mean just some of the lessons I learned while I was there, like how important networking was, because you can't have a car to your junior year when you're a cadet. So, but I was able to get a car like every weekend. I'd start on Monday knocking on doors at the academy from door to door, like, hey, you're gonna use the car this Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Can I use it? Go door to door. Then I'd send out emails to all the guys on the wrestling team and all the guys in the church. And then I'm like, and so my buddies were like, man, go get us a car this weekend. I'm like, why don't you guys get us a car? Like I'm working every week. Like I'm always getting us cars to, you fill it up with gas and all that. But I just learned like the importance of like networking and, just,
Who you
yeah,
know? Who you
yeah, who you
know?
know. Yeah, but my dad always he worked for the government. He worked for the federal government for the Air Force Base. But he'd always tell stories. Like he passed away 20 years ago in April. Uh, and so, but he was like right before he died, he's like, son, I wish I would have done this, and I could have done it, but I wish I would have just bought a plot of land in Spokane when it was for sale because after 20 years, like I've seen all these buildings go up around the area and now it's worth a lot. And he's like, man, I wish I would have just bought that piece of land because it's just more income. And so and through judo, he put on national tournaments and he was always like getting sponsors and doing like business deals, like getting hotel rooms. So for his events, you can negotiate hotel rooms. So
Oh wow.
you can even get the event space for free if you sell enough hotel rooms to the people coming in. So he was always like, yeah, getting hotel rooms. I'm just, doing it was he wasn't getting paid to be a judo coach, it was all volunteer, but I just learned like a lot of his negotiation skills and like the mindset you have in wrestling and judo, you can take it into the business world, just 80% of just showing up. A lot of people don't like there's so many times I didn't never want to go to practice as a kid or even as an adult. But when practice is over, it's like, I'm glad I did it. But just getting there, it's like all the negative thoughts come in your mind, like, oh, I could be watching TV or going out with my friends or, you know, and then, but just showing up, it's like most of it, just 80% is just showing up.
Yeah, we psych ourselves out, right?
Yeah.
The phone can get really heavy when you need to call prospects, right?
Oh, yeah. And then finding a good coach, because like if I were just go to the judo club and just sit on the mats by myself, after about 5, 10 minutes, I'd be like, all right, maybe 30 minutes, I'm done. But like with the coach there pushing you, you can be there 3 hours and the coach can push you. So it's kind of like in real estate. Like a lot of people call me up and say, hey, teach me real estate. I'm like, well, you need to join a mentorship. You need to join a group or, it took me forever until I met like Pace and Jamil because I'd read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was in college back in 2001 at BYU Hawaii. We played the cash flow game and I'm like, my friend who gave me the Rich Dad book, she's like, my dad makes more in real estate than he does as an engineer. And we played this, my brothers and sisters, we play the cash flow game before we go to bed. It's either go to bed or play the cash flow game. So it started changing my way of thinking. I read the book. I'm like, oh, real estate, okay, business. And then but I bought my first property when I moved to Arizona in 2005 or 2006, February 2006. And it was a 5 bedroom, 2 bath. I lived in the master and then I rented out to 4 other people. So it's kind of like a pad split. So I charged $299 a room plus the value utilities, guys from church. And
Uh-huh. House hacking.
yeah, it was always full. And
Uh,
like I didn't have a mortgage payment or car payment, so I'd use that money to go travel the world like every chance I got.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
I heard that you met Robert Kawasaki that wrote the book.
yeah, a few times, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And his wife, yeah. Or his ex-wife. They got divorced.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Then I know that you do other things in real estate. So, like, how did you venture from you bought the first house, you're now house hacking it, so you're living for free at your house, right?
Hmm.
You're probably making extra money, right?
Yeah, I was making extra money, but then the market crashed because I bought
Uh-huh.
high 2006 and then the market started coming down and
2008.
yeah, I bought it for like 248,000. And then like there's houses going for sale in Phoenix and Mesa for like 20 grand, 40 grand. And I could have bought another one, but then I was teaching school on the Indian reservation at the time, and this lady, she's in her 60s, she's like, you better not buy a house. You don't have money to fix it up. And I was like, yeah. She's like, do you have money to fix it up? I'm like, oh, I guess not. She's like, you better think about this. But I wish I didn't listen to her because she's in her 60s, barely making as a teacher. And like I was like, oh, I shouldn't listen to her, because I could have had a house. I appreciate another, few 100,000. But
So you have to be careful who you take advice from, right? Look at their
exactly.
portfolio and look at where they're at before you listen to them.
Yeah, if you want to be like them, then listen to them. If you don't, then like don't, right? But it's a lot of times like proximity, you listen to your close friends or family. But they talk, I don't know if you heard the story about crabs in a box. So if you
I
put
love
one,
it, but share it that I don't
yeah,
know if our
yeah,
listeners have heard it.
yeah, if you put like a crab in a 1 inch box, it'll crawl out easily. But you put 20 crabs in a 1 inch box and none of them will get out because they're too busy pulling each other back. So like, oh, you think you're getting out here? Come back here. Let me pull you back in here, right? So it happens like that in life, whether it's like, coworkers or family or friends, like, oh, you think you're better than us? Get back here. So, find new friends, find new people that encourage you instead of like destroying you, putting you down or destroying your dreams or telling you can't do it. Because then, if you're not strong enough, you'll give up before, you might talk to 1 or 2 people and then like, they'll kill your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll convince you against it, right? And it's already hard enough.
Yeah, I like the naysayers. I mean, I was teaching in Japan and I was 28 and I remember I told one of the English teachers there, I'm like, yeah, I want to go I think I can win. Like, I'm gonna start competing again. I think I can win the world championships. And he was like, no, man, you're too old. Just coach. And he's a young guy too, 23. And I was like so mad. I was like, you know what? I should have shared. You got to be careful for the dream stealers, right? Be careful you share your dreams with. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna prove him wrong. And so then when I won the world championships in 2010, I sent him a picture with my hand up in the air. I'm like, remember that time? Sent him an email. Remember that time you said I couldn't do it, I should give up, and I was too old, and I almost listened to you, but then I was like, no. So send him a picture of me winning the world championships.
Yeah, I think we become like the five people we hang out with. And so
Hmm.
I do think we have to really be careful
Hmm.
who we hang out with and who we take advice from and who we listen to.
Definitely.
So you have this one house, the market crashes. Didn't Robert Kawasaki tell you not to buy the house?
Oh yeah, you remember that story? Yeah, so
Mhm.
he had in 2005, when I first moved out here, he had a big event at this big church in Mesa, and I got invited to go. And so then he had like an open question for the people who were there. They're filming it for TV, and he was like, I said, Robert, I feel like we're kindred spirits. You went to the academy, I went to the academy. I'm just coming back from Japan. I got a bunch of money saved up. I want to buy my first real estate deal, my first house, and then, what would you suggest I do? And he's like, don't buy right now, Scott. Like, you can buy three houses in a couple of years for the same price. And then I'm like, really? Okay, maybe I should wait, right? And then I didn't listen to him. My two good buddies I was hanging around, they're like, oh, I just bought my second house. Robert doesn't always talk about it. And the other buddy had 16 houses. 16, he had fourplexes, houses, and different things. Like, man, I'm still buying. Don't listen to him. And then, yeah, they both lost their properties, went bankrupt. So I'm like, oh man, I should have listened to Robert. He knew, right, at the time.
Yeah. Real estate is not for the faint of heart. So
Yeah.
you get through the crash and then
Yeah.
what happens? You didn't give up, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just kept studying and like, um, I got married, about another house with my wife, and rented out. I turned that 5 bedroom to 8 bedroom because the family room was, the guys kept throwing all their junk in there, and there's just a pool table. So built a couple more rooms and rented it out, and so I was netting $1,000 a month on it, and yeah, it was good, like good cash cow for me over the years, and later on I turned it into like a sober living house, and uh,
Oh, wow.
bought some more sober living houses, and I was in charge of so I was a part owner of a drug rehab center, and so uh, yeah, I mean the income was really really good, and then I got to bless the lives of a lot of families. I took care of the a lot of the family that came in, and they had babies and kids, so we helped them get jobs, we helped them get off drugs, alcohol. Some of the kids that got taken by CPS, so I helped them get their kids back, working with the courts. And then yeah, just get them back on track in life and get them off the drugs and alcohol. And so yeah, just taking them out on activities. We did a lot of outings with the families and teach them how to parent. We'd have talking circles of, because they're like, I don't know how to be a good parent. So just giving them words of advice, teaching, what, and helping them out.
How did you get into sober living? And do you still do sober living or?
I'm still a part owner.
Mhm.
The Arizona stopped sending checks to us and a lot of different like facilities. And so there was a lot of fraud happening with people coming from overseas and like starting houses, and they're charging people that weren't staying there. And so like um it got on TV. So the state of Arizona like really cracked down on, and we were doing everything right, but they just stopped sending checks. Other places they would just go into the center and shut them down. But yeah, I heard somebody on a Zoom call that was in the business, and he was saying how much money he made from them. Like he's like, I make 80 grand per house, and I got 16 houses. And I'm like, whoa, can I get that guy's number? And so it was during COVID, so I called him, and he started mentoring me. And uh, yeah, a year later, I had my own houses, and so it was a real tough business. I mean, just people relapse, and I have to go over there at 2 in the morning and like take them to detox at you know, CBI is the place that we take them to so they could detox off drugs or alcohol or, you know, um, yeah, there's a lot to it. A lot of stress, a lot of different challenges that happen in it, but it's rewarding when, the people, they get the jobs, they get their life on track, they get their kids back. So
Yeah, that's very rewarding. You're
yeah,
you're helping families.
yeah, it was awesome. It was good feeling.
Then what are you working on now for in real estate?
Doing a little bit of a lot of different things. So, I've capital raised for mobile homes, multifamily. Right now I'm working on my real estate broker's license. And so when I get that, I'll start a property management company this year. Because in the state of Arizona, you need a broker's license to be a property manager. Um,
Same in California.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've had I've had property managers, I've had, different, things happen. And I'm like, man, I think I could do, at least respond to people, if the people don't call you back 2 weeks, and like I could do better than that. And then this property manager, or like I remember one time, um, we sold our one of our we sold the house that we lived in, paid off our student loans and everything, and then we were renting from someone, and then they wouldn't fix the AC, and my wife was pregnant and had a baby, and
In
we're like stuck on
Arizona?
it was 120 degrees out, and for like 2 months we were like begging them like, please fix the AC, please, like, and it was like I could do a better job than a lot of what these property managers are doing, because like, that was like criminal, we're sweating it out of the house on 120 degrees, like, yeah. So but I fix and flip houses. So I fix and flipped like 5 houses this year, and I sell land. So I already have like the contractors set up, the electricians, the AC guys, HVAC, the flooring, the plumbers, you name it.
So you have a
Landscape.
crew
Yeah, yeah. So
and
uh
you've done 5 houses. When you look for a house to flip, what do you look
yeah.
for?
Um, it just depends on I mean, like, if it's a good deal, then I look for a good deal, right? So one that has a good amount of equity. So because everything's so expensive right now with labor, with materials, by the time closing costs, you got to have a good cushion in there, because sometimes there's always like two oh crap moments every flip, like, oh crap, there's like roots growing up the pipes, and they're clay pipes, so now we got to replace the plumbing, or the yeah, sewer pipes, or the electrical, we got to replace the electro box, or there's a leak in the road. Yeah, there's always like every flip is like, oh crap, now I got to spend some money on this, or um so yeah, I mean, like, something has pretty good bones, but it's not like horrible. So if it's like, heck yeah, I want to do this, like, all right, move on it. But if it's like, just like kind of justifying, like, it's gonna be kind of tight, I don't know if I feel good about, then like not move on that. But um yeah, I mean, I was buying houses and then turning them to um like sober living houses. So, and then I had some midterm rentals and different things. So yeah.
What do you recommend
Yeah.
for people wanting to get started in real estate or they've been in it for a while and they're not sure what they should do next?
Just find something you like, because if you enjoy it, if you're having fun, then you'll want to do more. But if you're losing money and hating life, then maybe that's not the right lane for you, right? So, I mean, you can try different things out, see if you like it, see if you don't, you know. Like strip flips can be stressful, managing contractors, it's kind of like babysitting, like, hey, you coming today? Are you gonna finish this? Or do I gotta hire someone else, right? Like, um, or wholesaling, like, it might take you like 5, 6 months to finish, like with the flip, and you got all these costs, but you could have got like, a bunch of wholesale deals and made the same amount with less stress of flipping, right? So, or, if you want long term, if you want like Airbnbs, midterm rentals, um, it's kind of like you never know what's going to happen. Like, if, people like summertime here in Arizona, people don't want to come out as much as the wintertime, right? So, uh, yeah, I mean, like April last year, I had my midterm rental made like 4,600, and then like summertime, I made 700 on it. So, and it was rented out. So I'm like, all right, I don't know, like this midterm rental game's like really all that. So, um, yeah, just but through experience you learn, if you just sit on the sidelines, you're like, oh, I really wish I would have done real estate. I mean, I did that for years. Like, I really want to do real estate. I saw people doing it. I mean, I want to be like them, but how can I like ask them? How can I learn from them? How can I, because people that are in real estate are really busy. And when you're brand new, you want like everything spoon fed to you, and because you don't want to make mistakes. But that's what I like about the Subto community. I just if I have like a question, I can just put it on the Facebook group, and someone will be like, "Oh yeah, I can help you with how to write a note, do IOU for your flip for private money, or I can help you with whatever the question is." And help you get through that channel. Or I could run the numbers for you on that, or let me give you a quote on this, maybe, or I have a guy that could do that for you.
How
So
important do you think it is to join like a community like Paces, like Subto or Gator, those kind of communities? Not a
well,
mentorship, but a community.
yeah, community. I mean, it's like makes all the difference because you have like-minded people all uh doing, wanting or open, right? They're all wanting to learn or willing to network or willing to help each other out. So it's kind of like a buffet, right? It's like, oh, you're doing Airbnbs. Oh, let me talk to you. Are you doing multifamily? Let me talk to you. Are you doing mobile homes? All right. Are you flipping land or you're capital raising? Like it's kind of like Zachary keeps. He was one of my mentors and taught me how to flip too. And he's like, I asked him like, should I get my real estate license? And he's like, of course, yeah, get it, man. I was like, okay. And he's like, it's like he's like, Scott, okay, let's say you go to the shooting range, right? And you have all sorts of different type of guns. And like, let's say the shotgun's your realtor license, pow, has a different purpose, right? And then like, you're a flipper, right? So you take out your hand pistol, shoot it, has a different purpose. Or if you bring a rifle to the range and you want to shoot long range, well, maybe that's like, multifamily. And just like different guns had different, you take your AR-15 and like that could be wholesaling, right? So like each gun has a different purpose, but like when I'm in deals like negotiating for like a wholesale deal, right? I made 60 grand on a wholesale deal. Just by I door knocked. I took a group of sub two students out and we door knocked. And on the window it said, "Do not knock, do not ring the doorbell." I knocked. I'm like, "Hey, we're looking to buy houses in the neighborhood, or looking to pick up some rental properties. You know anybody?" And the kid was like, "Yeah, we want to sell this house." I'm like, "Okay." And his 21-year-old kid, he's a Marine, and he's like, "Yeah, my grandma just passed away a couple months ago and left my mom this house, and me and my friends are all living here." And they trashed the house, but they had guinea pigs living in the master bedroom, pooped all over, dog poop all over, guinea
Oh
pig
my
poop all
gosh.
over. Um, so a couple days, I'm like, "Okay, can I get your mom's number? When do you want to sell?" And he said, "2 weeks." "Are you working with a realtor?" "No." "Okay." "You have anybody lined up to buy it?" "No." "Okay." So I called the mom, went out to Maricopa to because she lived out there. The house is in Mesa, and just sat down with her. I'm like, "Look, I'm a realtor. This house needs a lot of work. The hot tub's cracked outside. There's, the roof, the carpets, and I'm like, do you have like, you know, 60 grand to put into this to fix it up?" And she's like, "No." Because I go, if you put on the MLS, I can list it for you as a realtor. I'd be happy to. But, the bank's going to come in here and be like, "Oh, we can't lend on this till this is fixed. This is fixed. This is fixed." I'm like, "Do you have that money?" "No." "Okay, well, let me buy it for like 285,000. And she's like, "Okay, well, I have like three other siblings. So how much would each of us make?" I'm like, "Well, total, you guys will net 100 grand." She's like, "Well, how much is that each?" I go, 25 grand each. She's like, "All right, that's good. Where do I sign?" So like I leveraged my realtor license to like provide the option. Like, look, I could list it for you, but you got to pay my realtor fees. You got to pay the other realtor fees. That's a lot of money. Plus, you got to pay to fix it up and paint it, stage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's interesting. Do you think realtors should join Subto? Why is it important to have that extra tool in their toolbox?
I think they should, but sometimes realtors are hard headed. Like I work with them all the time, and it's just like they can be kind of snobbish sometimes. I hate to say, it, but like I'm a realtor too. But like I'm like, let's just get this deal done. Like like they don't in real estate school. It's sad because they don't teach you anything. Like they have you memorize a bunch of facts,
that
and
are not important.
that are important, right? I don't think I've used anything from real estate. So all I remember is 43,560 square feet equal an acre, right? Like that's
Yes.
probably the only thing I use from real estate school because I'm listing some land right now, right? But and then they have you take a test, and it's nothing like what they taught you in real estate school, but like it's nothing what you actually do. Like you learn when you're join a group or different things, you learn like the game, like more like the game of real estate, where in real estate school it's more like just the textbook type stuff. You're not applying it, right? So
They don't correlate at all. The
no,
pitch of a roof or all these weird things, and it's like,
yeah,
what is this stuff? Like it has nothing to
yeah,
do with anything
yeah, you're never gonna use it again, really.
ever.
Yeah, and the state just takes their donation, right? Like, hey, pay us your fee for the test, and they'll take another test. We'll make it really hard, so pay another test. And I think I took my test like 5 times. I'm like, all right, pay my donation to the state, and like, let's go. But like, people give you credibility when you're a realtor. Like, oh, you're the know all be all. I got people all the time like, Scott, what's the future hold, like crystal ball, like what's the real estate market going to do? I'll go, man, if I would have known like, 5 years ago during COVID that would go up another 300 grand, I would have bought and held on to those properties I bought for 126,000, or I bought a property for $10 on a quarter acre, and it sold for 92 grand. I would have kept all those. I bought a
All the
military
ones
base.
what percentage of the properties that you wholesale do you keep now? Do you know?
Um, well, it depends on the purpose. So like when I was doing sober livings, like I was just buying the deals from the wholesalers and fixing them up, and then like, making them into like sober living. So it just depends like what time of my life I'm in. Or I mean, I've been in sub two since the beginning. I first met Pace and Jamil in 2019 and September. Well, I heard Pace talk in August at a real estate disruptors meeting, and I'm like, man, I want to be like that guy. He has some cool stories about real estate. He's talking about dead bodies, going to the house and they didn't clean up a dead body, and then the company he hired to clean up only left half the body there. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But I've had experiences like that too. Like one of my properties had a dead body on it. It was a military base on 7 acres. I bought for 4 grand tax liens. It had 16 World War II Army barracks on it. It had old school buses, fire trucks, RVs, Jeeps, everything. Old signs. So the guy owned a Army surplus store, so he stored all his like desk, chair. He'd go to the auctions at Fort Huachuca and then like store everything in there. And so he collected a ton of junk, and so it was kind of a cool property. And he had like 77 properties, and one of the properties had like 300 cars, like old Ford Fairlanes, classic car, like
Oh,
everything.
wow.
Yeah, one of my friends from high school, he's like, hey Scott, I saw on Facebook that you're doing real estate in Arizona. Can you help my half sister out? Her dad passed away, left her 77 properties. She got divorced this year. She has a special needs daughter, and she just lost her job. So I called her up, just seeing like, what things I could do. And um she had a bunch of commercial properties for sale, houses for sale. I'm like, yeah, I can, let me put it out to some of my investors. I had some investors come out and look at her properties and different things. And she's like, you know what, Scott? I like you. I'm just gonna sell you my military base. I'm like, what? Military? You can't buy a military base? What? And then she's like, it's a World War II Army barracks. And it took me a while to register. I'm like, is she even like, is she even telling the truth? You can buy World War II Army barracks? And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head down, to Huachuca. And so yeah, I drove down there a couple days after with some friends, and we looked at all the properties that she had for sale. And yeah, it was a fun property.
There's a lot of good stories. I heard Pace tell a story recently where you were driving around with him
Hmm.
and looking at properties and going on appointments together.
Hmm.
You want to share that story?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Pace say, like me and Debbie Lou, we were got a ride along on his Toyota Prius. I was on like a Sunday night call. And it was like one of my first properties that I flipped. So uh I bought a mobile home for $1,200 in
Mhm.
Mesa, and I bought one in Scottsdale for 3,500. And then I got a wholesale deal. I was picking up for 126,000, and it was a nice house too. It was a 2,200 square foot house. And then so I was like, hey, Pace, because Pace back then was really into like flipping mobile homes and affixing them to land and all this. And um, I was like, hey, Pace, I have some questions. I just bought this house for 1,200 bucks, and it's off Alma School and Broadway. And he's like, is it 55 and older? And I go, yeah. And he's like, why the hell would you do that, man? You don't buy in 55 and older. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I negotiated for 1,200. I thought it would, be enough to cut my teeth on because, when you fix and flip after 5 flips, they'll give you a better interest rate and you have to put less money down. I'm like, man, I just thought it would help me. And so he's like, okay, where's this? Oh, that's like a mile away from my office. All right, like, I'll come by it. And then, yeah, he came by and he's like, oh man, you got the flooring here, you got the paint, you got the work. Oh, okay, you're gonna make some money on that. So, he's like, hey, what are you doing today? And like nothing. He's like, you want to come for a ride along with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I had to call out of school and like went with Pace, and it was just like, at the end of the day, I was like, man, this is like my dream life. I just saw you, he took us to all these different properties, that he had bought or was buying or we are watching him in negotiations, and just see deals go down, or he took us to one in Phoenix and they're shooting guns off in the air. And I'm like, whoa, and I was like, Pace, you ever pack guns? He's like, I used to, but not anymore. Now I just use my words. And there was like a squatter in one of the houses. He had his shirt off and he's like eating some fried chicken, and Pace like, hey, you're gonna be out here by the end of the month, just make sure you clean up, try to keep the place clean and whatnot. And then yeah, there was the first property we went to was like a two the second property we went to was out in Whitman. It was like a 2 acre property that he was picking up Subto. And then he went to go sign the documents on Ladies Naked and signed the
He's
signed the deal
naked.
naked. Yeah, she was like a nudist and she signed the deal naked. And yeah, it was a wild day just, seeing him negotiate. And yeah, I remember asking him, I was like, why do you help so many people out? Because, there was like, three of us that day going on a ride along with him. And he was like, well, I understand karma to like the finest detail. And so, the more I give on a bigger scale, the more it comes back to me. And so like I noticed that when I take like big groups of people, like Pace asked me to take people door knocking and stuff too. And yeah, when deals would just fall in my lap, like boom. Oh, now I got a military base. Oh, boom. Now I just made 60 grand on this wholesale deal. Boom. Like, yeah, it's weird. Like when you start helping more people on a massive scale, then like deals just fall in your lap effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
that
it,
karma
it,
works. Yeah,
yeah, law of attraction really works. We're all energy magnets and we're attracting how we're being, right? And so
yeah, definitely,
if we're go-givers, then good things come to us too, right?
definitely, yeah,
How do you juggle a full-time job and investing in real estate and a family?
yeah. Family. I mean, it's
Church. You have a church calling
church
probably.
callings. Yeah, I do the self-reliance. We're doing a business class right now, so I've been helping a bunch of people with that. So it's just I don't know, it's fun for me. So like in the Air Force Academy, I learned how to time management because we're taking 23 credits
Oh,
a
wow.
semester, and then wrestling, Division 1 wrestling. So I was coming in at like 163 and I'd wrestle 142. And then we had our military duties, so we had like marching practice. And then the classes weren't easy either. It was like, 23 credits of chemistry, physics, computer programming, calculus, Japanese, English, mechanical engineering, because they pretty much want you to be like gear you to like be an engineer. So they give you like an engineering courses because you can be like Air Force officers. And then I joined the church when I was there too. So then I had to learn like all the customs and lingo. Like my freshman year at the academy, I'm like, learning about a new church. Plus, I'm learning about like all these terms of the military. How to walk, talk. You have to memorize knowledge as a cadet, and then like you get yelled at in the hallways if you don't know your weekly knowledge. About airplanes, quotes, uh, different things they have you memorize for the week. How many days till the seniors graduate, juniors, sophomores, freshmen graduate, what kind of drinks people want, if they want ice on their orange juice and milk, and if the orange juice on the right and the left, and then um at like breakfast, right, or lunch, like that, they're freshmen, you're responsible. And then you have to wake up the upperclassmen and count down minutes. Like there are 5 minutes to morning formation, dress of the day. You have to know like what they have to wear, if it's like inclement weather, or if it's like you need your jackets or your gloves, or you have to call it out. So yeah, after that, I'm like, whew, I can handle anything in life, because they just train you to be like busy all the time. Because I'd be up till midnight every night working on calculus or physics or computer programming, and then I learned to have fun too, because like I'd go get a car. All right, we got to get out of here, man. It's Friday night. Like we got to blow off steam, So I'd get a car and get like a bunch of my buddies crammed in, and we go dancing and go out to the mall and watch movies, or yeah, go to the church dances or dance clubs.
Yeah, it sounds fun. So you just
Yeah.
have to compartmentalize everything or time block or
Yeah. I mean, you find out like what's most important during the day. Like, okay, I have this meeting, or I have this, or like little goals. Like today I today I was like, okay, I need to get this land I'm flipping done, right? So I was on the MLS, like, you know, working on like posting it, right, for sale. So I'm like, okay, this is important. And then I was scheduling my broker's test for next week. So then I'm like, okay, that's important. So let's get that done. Then I'm gonna start a property management company. But I also yesterday I was talking with someone. There's like a lot of budget cuts happening in schools, and so like a lot of the behavior interventionists are like getting fired. So um
is that what you do
I've
for a
been
living?
well, I was like, I should start up a company, because when I taught special ed on the reservation, um there was like this behavioral health uh company that came in, and like I worked with these like they're fourth to ninth graders, and they're all have a lot of them were like very troubled youth. And the way I got the job was like, okay, you're a black belt in judo. Let's put you in this room and help these males with some math and English. And I got in there, and there's like, chairs, they're throwing chairs through walls, and they're like fighting, they're beating each other up in the bathroom, and it was like being in jail. And like they beat each other up, and then uh they were the people in charge were like, all right, just go back to class like 5 minutes later. So uh they brought this yeah, it was a really difficult first year there. And so they brought in this behavior company, and they always had money. They would like take the kids to the movies, put on the credit card, take the kids like to outings so they can learn how to function in society. They would always have like prizes and chips for them. And I'm like, man, how they get all this money? Because they'd bill insurance, right? And they would work with kids' behaviors, do play therapy and different give them strategies of how to, work with like teachers they might not like, or other kids they may not like, or instead of like punching, Billy in the nose, how can we react to this? Journal, do different things. So yeah, I mean, I taught special education for like 11 years, taught school for 19 years. But I'm like, oh, there's a need, and I own a behavioral, the drug rehab center, right? So a lot of it's like the same type of thing, but my partners are always like, oh, I don't want to do kids. I don't want to do kids. So yesterday I was like, you know what? I should just start my own behavior health company, and then we can go into the schools and uh, work with
Oh,
kids and give them strategies. And yeah, there's a big need out there. I mean, when I was coaching wrestling, I think 80% of my wrestlers didn't have dads at home. So I became the father of their life. And so,
yeah.
just give them words of, you know, I've had two of my special students that were in special ed. One's a dancer for the Phoenix Suns now, and then he's marrying a doctor. They're having a baby, and he's an MMA fighter. And then yeah, he works, and he's always traveling somewhere in the world. And he always thanks me like, hey, thank you for teaching me about goal setting. Thank you for teaching me about. And then I have another student came in with an ankle bracelet freshman year. He's always cussing at me. His mom would call him up in class, start and yelling at him, cussing at him, and then I'd stop answering the phone because I'm like, I don't want to put out this fire. Like she'd call every day, and I'd always give him like strategies. Like he's like, you're not like the other teachers. Because like when his parole officer would come, he'd ride his skateboard around him and like jump out the second story of his apartment, so he wouldn't have to talk to his social workers. And I'm like, well, obviously that strategy of being coming down hard on you like is not working. So I'd always joke around with him, like, and he'd get mad, like you play around too much. I'm like, well, obviously not working so I'm gonna go take this approach. But his social worker and mom, like, you're the only person he ever listens to. And we did goal setting. He just messaged me. He did a little testimony. He's like, hey, thank you so much. Like, I own a paint company now. I have employees. I have my own truck. I just bought my house. Can we go out to eat? I'm like, that's awesome, man.
That's
Congratulations.
awesome.
Yeah, I lost a lot of my hair working with those two kids right there.
Yeah, that'll happen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 15 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So someone that's going to start new, right? Or let's say
Mhm.
someone it works in the schools like you, right?
Mhm.
Or some kind of a job.
Mhm.
What's their next step? What do you think?
I mean, every person's different, right? Like some people are like analysis paralysis. They have to analyze everything and not take action, right? So, uh, I mean, get out of your comfort zone. Like, yeah, just take action because, so many people don't want to lose, right? We're taught like don't make mistakes in school. We're taught like, like yeah, like people are just afraid of making mistakes, but that's how you learn. That's how you're gonna lose. I was riding around with Jamil when I first started, right? And we
Hmm.
went out to lunch. Um, and he was like, I was like, aren't you afraid, people are gonna steal money from you? Because that was my fear, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, no, Scott, yeah, people are gonna steal money from you. Like, he's like, I lost lots of money from people, and I'm like, really? I don't want people to steal from me or lose money, And so that was like holding me back, my fear, right? And he's like, man, you better thank those people because you could have spent tens of, or hundreds or even millions with those people. So thank them early because they just showed you their true character. They just showed you who they truly are. So cut ties with them and thank them and like, go on your way. But, I've had people steal from me. I've lost money in deals with different, people that have been not so honest that I'm like, okay, just learn, but I made a lot of money too, so
Yeah.
like, um, you
I
know,
think I
I've
think we have to increase our risk aversion, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, like Jamil was talking on some cat podcast, but he's like, some of you guys I've helped have 6-figure months. I'm like, oh yeah, I've had multiple 6-figure months, but like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like that was not even my mental space. Like I could do that. I can make that, like when you get the checks, you're like, yeah, the first call are really like, whoa, you almost want to frame it, right? Like I think I made color copies of some of my first wholesale check was like I netted like 13 grand and I was like, oh, like I just drive Uber and Lyft and I would make 13,000 a year, like waking up 3:30 in the morning before school, and then working weekends and then working in the summer. And I think I made like around 13 grand that whole year. And then in one deal in less than 5 hours, I made 13 grand. And I was like, I need to focus on this real estate more. And yeah, it's just I make it fun. I make it fun enough so I don't get burnt out, because it's like with anything, if you all right, I'm just gonna do that. Like even with training, right? When I train for the world championships or a lot of people are like, how come you don't coach? How come you don't open your own dojo? How come you don't like make it a big business? I'm like, I'll get burnt out doing that, like then I get tied, like, you know, I'm like then it's not gonna be fun for me, So
Yeah. It takes the fun out of it.
it does. And then yeah, you just get depressed or yeah, it's just yeah.
Another question, last question for
Yeah.
you. What time in your life, my show is called Born to be Brave.
Okay.
When's the time you've been brave in your life? Because I believe everyone's living below their divine potential.
Yeah.
Do you have a story you want to share
A
or a
time
thought?
I a time I was brave.
Yeah, maybe a time that you felt like you're under pressure or
Yeah. I probably say like right before I went on my mission to Japan for the church.
Mm-hmm.
because when I joined my church, the my dad's like, okay, I'll agree for you to get baptized, but don't let him talk you on a church mission because then you have to leave the Air Force Academy, and that's a big deal. Like right now, I think it's like a $500,000 scholarship, and just like the prestige of graduating from the academy, right? So I was like, oh, Dad, I don't know enough about the church to even like tell people, teach people about it. So, you don't have to worry. But then I just felt like, God, like all these coincidences started happening. Like, okay, well, maybe I'm supposed to like, maybe there's some really cool people I'm meant to touch their heart in this world, Like my life was touched. So, um, after a lot of like praying and like, um, yeah, just getting advice from friends and like church leaders and different things, and I was like, okay, I'm meant to go, right? There's people I'm meant to go meet. And I was really hoping to go to Japan. I was like, oh, please just send me to Japan. That'd be awesome. But um, I met a lot of resistance. Like, my dad was so, I don't think he passed away and he still didn't forgive me, like, uh, yeah, they're just like my family was against me going, like, they're like, oh, you're going to give your spot up at the Air Force Academy. You're going to, it just felt like the whole world was caving in. But then
Mm-hmm.
like when I was able, once I was out there, like, yeah, I mean, like the first area, I met some really cool people. I baptized like first four people in my first area. And the guy that was with me, his dad was like a multimillionaire. And he grew up, he'd only been in the church for 1 year. And his dad was in charge of the import export from Daiei. But he showed up in America with two backpacks and $500 when he first moved to America, and then became a multimillionaire. And so, and then he had a similar, like his family, like almost disowned him all, they kicked him out of the house and he had to go live with people before his mission. And so he had been a member a year, I've been a member 2 years. And so here we are. And then, the guy, the, one of the guys I baptized, he had one leg and he lived right next to the church. And so I used to carry him up 3 flights of stairs to go to church and down. And, you know, had bad asthma too and allergies, and our bathroom was covered in mold, black mold, and I couldn't breathe. That's like my worst allergy too. And it was like under the tatami mats, and we had a really like the apartment that the missionaries had were just it was just horrible, right? So I couldn't breathe. But then I still went and talked to this guy even though I couldn't breathe. And then he ended up baptizing his wife on one leg a month later, and then he passed away that month later.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we baptized another girl that was in our English class, and we baptized this guy that was found like knocking doors on the apartments. So he looked like a samurai too. Yeah, the hair. And then yeah, I went on to like go baptize more families in Japan, and like I just went to Japan this past summer and saw some of the people baptized, some friends, and some of my family members that live over there. So yeah, I mean that, but it took a lot of after the mission, and then a week after I got baptized, I went to the BYU. We got military hops for like $5. And so you can hop on the planes and go travel where there's any base. So me and my buddies, we went to Hawaii, Guam, Japan, Alaska, and then made all the way back to my dad's base in Spokane, and made it back in time for my sister's high school graduation. And it was quite a trip. Yeah, but um, yeah, I mean, I got to go to live in Hawaii, which was my dream. I mean, I was a Polynesian dancer there at the Polynesian Cultural Center because I had the
You,
look.
you
Yeah,
did?
yeah, and
You
so.
danced at the PCC?
Yeah, for PCC, I did the Haka, the Maori, the Tahitian, and the Hawaiian hula. And so, yeah, it was just like blessings. You go through hard times after much tribulation cometh the blessings, right? So, um, I was just talking to one of my friends yesterday that he was having a hard time. He's supposed to get baptized soon, and he's almost going to give up. And I'm like, like in life, like get excited when the hard times come, because you like your heartstrings are going to be pulled, like you're going to be tested, right? And then if you pass the test, the blessings come, right? So just don't give up. And it's like that in real estate too. Like, oh, something big's going to happen, but then like kind of tested, like some bad things start happening, like, or you just, I don't know, it's like, oh, what's it? This is weird. Like it feels like the whole world's crashing down, or people being mean, or whatever it is, like whatever pulling your heartstring, and then sometimes I have to remind myself like, oh, this is one of those moments I got to pass because some big blessings come in the future, right? So that's how I look at life.
I love that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it's spiritual too. Like I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the spiritual side of real estate, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Don't you feel like there is a spiritual side to real
oh yeah.
estate?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just being guided sometimes or oh, that was a coincidence. I met this person or this happened or yeah.
Yes. I always think like these thoughts, these reoccurring thoughts that come into our mind,
Hmm.
or just a one-time thought, go here or do that or call this person or
Yeah.
go knock that door or check in with this person. And so many good things lead from that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It just I
It,
picked up a land deal last year. I called the guy. He was delivering a stove on my one of my that $1,200 flip in Mesa I was telling you about. And then I was telling him like, yeah, man, I'm excited. This is like my first flip here. And he's like, man, I need to get into real estate. You're inspiring me. And so he got a mentor that did tax liens and he picked up a lot of different land deals. And then I called him up and I was like, hey man, how's it going? And he was like, oh, it's horrible, man. I got hit. I got a bad accident. I can't walk.
wow.
I have all these medical bills, but I do have all this land. And so then it was like, all right, I'll buy it from you, you know?
So that worked out, right? It was good for both of you.
Yeah, I was like, I'll buy it from you. And how much you want? And he was like, 10, 15 grand. I'm like, well, would you do like seller finance? Sure. Okay. So I pay him like, 1,000 a month. And then, yeah. So he had like a 10-acre property by a pecan, um, place. And then, like all these like little properties, like some by like electricity, water, housing, some like way out in the middle of nowhere, but they're like all over New Mexico and Arizona. And yeah, but it was just like from checking up on people, checking up on them, like, oh well, he's like, I don't know. But then he canceled the deal after I got about 11 acres from him because he got jealous that like I told him I was going to do it too. He's like, oh yeah, you could probably sell this 10-acre for a lot more. So I put it on the market for 19 grand and he got pretty upset like that people were calling me up and interested. So and then yeah, he's like canceled our deal. I'm like, well, I'm willing to honor our part of the deal if you want to keep going, but he just stopped taking my calls and different things. So yeah.
You have to have thick skin in this business.
Yeah, you do. But I got like one of the lots was like $85. And I just went to like 2 weeks ago. It was pretty cool. It's like in a little mobile home place up in Sun Valley, Arizona. So a little cool bug out place.
That's good, right? Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up? And
No, I can't think of anything unless you have any questions, but yeah.
no, how can people? Well, one, thank you so much for coming. This was so fun to get to know you a
Yeah.
little better
Yeah,
and
you
find
too.
out your journey.
Yeah.
And hopefully, my goal is to inspire people and empower people
Mhm.
to take uncomfortable, imperfect, inspired action, right? Like get moving.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you just start out small, like I just sold some land. It's halfway between here and San Diego. It's in Dateland, Arizona. And I just sold that seller finance for 2,600. One of the lots I bought from that guy, right? I have two lots there. I'm gonna
Hmm.
keep them for myself. But like if you're afraid to do something big, just go on eBay. They're selling land cheap there. They go on Craigslist or Facebook or the Subto group. Maybe someone has like a plot of land that, you know, you learn the process, you learn like the paperwork, you learn that's not so scary because you start like shaking, like, oh, am I gonna lose money? Is this person like gonna rip me off? Or, all these scenarios start going through your head. Like, I was just helping one of my investors last week, and he was asking for real estate advice. And he's like, what about the tolerance clause? Oh, I'm so worried about that. I'm like, man, like, don't worry. I mean, yeah, don't worry about it. Things you worry about, just take up a lot of your energy, just keep pushing forward,
Yeah, it's
don't
good,
psych
right?
yourself out. Well, it's like fighting, right? Before I get on the mat, you have to get in the right headspace. And if you're like, oh, that guy's gonna beat me, oh, I'm gonna lose. Oh, he looks strong. and then that's what's going to happen, right? So think about like you have to get in the right mindset. I'm a nice guy, right? I'm the nicest guy off the mat, but when I got on the mat, uh, people when I was fighting in Sweden, one of the French guys like, "Oh, our team called you Le Monstre. You're like a monster out there, you know." And my best friend, he saw me in high school wrestle under the spotlight in Spokane, Washington. He's like, "Man, who was that madman out there, man? You're so nice off the mat laughing, and you're like slapping yourself and screaming, and you're in that guy's face, and you're circling around him." And he's like, "Man, you grabbed that guy, you pinned him, and and the match was over, and like the crowd's going crazy. Like, man, I've never seen that side of you, right?" So you kind of have to get in that like warrior mindset. Like it takes energy, but yeah, just don't be afraid. Just go for it, Like why not?
Right? We're
If you
we're
lose, you get better,
focused,
right?
huh?
If you lose the match, you learn from it, you go get better. Like how can I do better on my next match? How can I do better in real estate the next time if, that deal wasn't
Yes.
so good or it was small or and don't compare yourself to others. Like everybody's on their own journey. So you're like, oh well, I don't have it's been a year and I don't have a million units. This stuff doesn't work.
No, and it's a long game, right? This is not a get
It
rich
is.
quick thing. This is a long game. This is not
It
this
is,
isn't
yeah.
it takes time. And I think that you do where your focus goes, energy flows,
Hmm.
and we have to see ourselves being successful at this and making good partnerships and learning how to underwrite, making sure it's a real deal that there is enough so you can have two oopsies like roots in the pipes or whatever it is. You need to
Yeah.
have cushion, right?
Yeah.
So,
And then
and
like, you just have fun with it or if you have a W-2 job, like just leverage that because like banks, they love W-2 jobs. They'll give you if you're just like a business person, they're like, well, business is up and down or you're a realtor, so then we don't know, you got to deal this month where you made 17 grand, but the next 2 months you didn't. And so like if you're a W-2 job, like leverage that. Go open up like bank accounts, get business credit cards so it doesn't come off your personal, debt to income ratio. Um, I've bought like vehicles with my LLCs.
business
I bought
credit.
houses. Yeah, I got lines of credit cards. Yeah, it's amazing like what they'll give you with like, business credit, right? So leverage it,
Yeah, because
loans.
banks love W-2
They
employees.
do.
That's
They
what they're
do.
set up for.
They are. That's the game. So
Yeah, that's good advice, right?
because
And
some people get down on themselves, like, oh, I got a W-2. I'm not like this multimillionaire real estate, but like the multimillionaire, like the banks don't like them because sometimes, the business, like it's ups and downs, right? So
mhm. They
yeah,
like that steady paycheck.
they love that steady paycheck coming in.
Yeah, they love it.
So
And then
leverage it.
yeah, and then you have an LLC, right?
I have multiple LLCs, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
Robert
people
Kiyosaki, at my business class at church last night, we went off for like 30 minutes because people had questions about business credit LLC. So in 2000, Kiyosaki, I read one of his books and he was just like, let get a generic LLC, right? So then because you're going to change businesses so much in your life and like make it generic because if you like get it like specialized like Garcia popcorn machines, right? Then you can only use that to sell popcorn machine. But like get it like so general that you could use it because you're gonna change possibly businesses in the future, but you can still use the LLC. So he's like, and just go out and like go start up like 3 or 4 LLCs. And so like I went out in 2010, started like 4 LLCs. And then like when things start getting cranking, I'm like, oh, I don't even have time to because you have to go open up bank accounts and like lines of you don't even have time to go like start LLC and go do the bank um but yeah, he said like just let the business idea maybe rattle around in your brain for a few years, It doesn't you might not necessarily have it bam manifest right then, but it might take you 10, 20 years. But then when it does, like just be ready with your LLCs, with your business credit, with your documents, everything ready to go. You're
yeah,
ready to pull the trigger.
it takes time to build business credit.
It does, yeah. And then go to like different banks, go to different credit unions, go to get those relationships over the years. Like you buy a car from this credit union, and the credit unions usually keep the loan open for that. So then, they might have like $1 or $2, but then you have that relationship with them. So then when you do have like business coming in, you can go open up lines of credit cards with them, and then you go to another one and build a relationship with that bank and pay them. When you're paying them back, it's like you're developing that a track record with them. And so, your EIN or your LLC has an EIN number, which is like a social security for that business, separate from you. So it has its own like kind of credit line that shows that you're making payments for that LLC, that you're in good standing. And so if you have like multiple LLCs all doing that, then you can do a lot of damage with it, with your
Yeah,
business.
it's good, huh?
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate you coming on here so much. Where can
yeah,
people find you if they want
appreciate
to
you.
reach out to you?
Scott Kenji Garcia on Instagram or uh YouTube, same thing.
What's the middle,
Yeah.
Scott?
Scott K Garcia on YouTube, Scott Kenji Kenji Garcia on Instagram. So those are the two ways to find me.
Okay, you're awesome, dude. I
Yeah,
appreciate your time.
yeah,
And
you
it was
too.
so exciting to find out that we're both members of the same church and we went to the
Yeah,
same college. And
yeah, right.
yeah, it's fun. I went there for a little while to BYU
Yeah,
Hawaii.
I remember you telling me in Tucson.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, it's a special place there on the North Shore.
it is. Yeah, it's a very sacred place and very, very beautiful. You're just a couple minutes walk away from the beach. And I learned early you can't like go take books to the beach and study because you end up falling asleep taking naps.
Yeah, right.
I would go to the cold library till like midnight because I need people around me, like moving, action for me to like I feed off people's energy. So
To stay awake.
yeah, or
Mhm.
anything that I do in life. So it just helps. Like that's why I love going to real estate meetups. I go when I first started, I go like couple, two, three a week, and people are like, "Man, you're always at every meetup." Oh, even like some of the gurus, like, "Man, we see you on social media. You're always at every meetup," or Pace remembers and Jamil, they remember me always being showing up at different events. And
Yeah, Pace
yeah.
talked about you at that RPM thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait, what do you say?
He just said that you used to go to everything with, you'd go on
Oh yeah.
ride-alongs with him
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
he'd see you all the time.
Yeah. Last year at Race Fest, he's like, be a cockroach,
Mhm.
be like you keep showing up and people are like, man, who is this person keep showing up? I think, and then like, even when you don't think they're gonna, like be that cockroach, he's popping up like, hey, I'm here again. How you doing?
It's so important. I was going to my day with Pace
Uh-huh.
and it was coming up and I thought, oh, I'm going all in on YouTube this year. And I thought, oh, I should ask Pace if he'll let me interview him while I'm
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh.
And so I DM'd him and he said yes to email this
Awesome.
person and set it all up. And I just think we have to have the guts to do the stuff, right? Like
You
we just
do.
have to
Uh-huh.
have the guts to go, I'm going all in and I'm gonna ask the hard things. And he said yes. I mean, worst he could done was say no, right?
No, that's awesome. Yeah. I took a course a few years ago. My buddy started up a company, and it taught people like how to use social media. And I remember one of the things he said in the course, because he's like he used to do a lot of network marketing, right? I met him at a network marketing event back in 2007, Danny Johnson event. She teaches you how to talk to four
Uh-huh.
different personalities, how to sell products. And so um he was saying like make a bunch of YouTube videos and just leave them up there. He's like, those still make me money. He later went on to become like a million multimillionaire in the but he's like, I used to chase people around Walmart at 9 p.m. at night, and I'd stop them and I'd be in my suit and tie, I'm like, hey, can I talk to you? And like try to sell them like vitamins and different things and try to get them their network. And people are like running away. And he's like, now with like social media, YouTube, people come to me, like there's lines like lined up just to shake my hand, just get a picture with me. And he's like, what changed? It's just the power of like social media. He's like, it's free. And he's like, go ahead and make some videos, talk about whatever, and leave them up there. I mean, I saw videos on YouTube, because in the beginning you suck at it. He's like, you're gonna suck at it. just do it, you embrace it, and then you're gonna get used to talking in front of the camera. But at first you're like, oh, I don't like the way my voice sounds, or I don't like the way I look. He's like, just post, don't even look at it, just post it, because then you'll like get that analysis paralysis. And so I got some videos on YouTube like 6 views, 10 views, whatever. But I leave it up there just a reminder. And then he's also said, like, find someone you really care about and like just talk to them heart to heart. So it's like authentic. So for me, I was like, oh, I'll just, my mom, when I was at the Air Force Academy, she always complained, like, all these other cadets would tell their mom about everything that's going on every day, and like how, the whole system. And so when social media came around, I was like, oh, now I can show my mom what her grandkids are doing every day, what I'm doing in life. And
Yeah.
eventually, so she gets on there and she's always one of the first people to like or comment or something. So for me, it's like, hey, mom, hey, mom, I'm here. This is what your grandkids are doing, or this is the real estate deal I'm doing, or I'm selling this triplex, I'm selling this house, I'm selling this, you know,
Yeah,
piece
it's
of land,
good.
or I'm
It's a
raising
great tool.
capital for this. Yeah. And it's free. So yeah, it's just
Make content, take imperfect action. Who cares what you look like? Just get going.
exactly like, yeah, I still hardly look at my videos because I'm like, I don't want to hear the way I
I
sound
know.
or
Someone asked
eventually.
me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember this part from the interview with Pace?" I'm like, "Oh
Huh?
no, I didn't watch it." Like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. I did it, and people have sent me really nice messages and said it was great. Or
Oh
someone,
yeah.
a lady interviewed me. Her,
Hmm.
her thing's called Beyond Coincidence,
Okay.
and it's she's LDS, a member of our faith, Church of Jesus
Uh-huh.
Christ Latter-day Saints. And she asks, have you seen the hand of God in your life? And someone asked me, oh my gosh, wasn't that great? What do I can't believe this or that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know what I said on there, because it was a few months before something happened. It
Oh
was a
yeah.
long delay for it coming out.
Yeah.
And something happened with her production stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what I said on there. They're like, oh, you should listen to it. I'm like, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe someday, but I'm not real big
Someday.
on that. I just make the content and then I keep going, right? Because I
Yeah.
want to connect with someone, learn from them, and then I
Yeah.
make a permanent place for people to be able to come back and use it as a resource, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my goal. Anyway, but
Is
I'm
that a
at my
Tahitian
time
pearl?
limit.
Is
Huh?
that
What were
a
you gonna say?
Tahitian pearl?
Yeah, I got this on
Yeah.
the North Shore by Sharks Cove.
Okay, awesome. I went to Bora Bora in French Polynesia, and they sell those like in a big bag
They do?
for like 10-20 bucks. And so like the throwaway ones, but they're still really good, like.
Yeah.
And I made like when I was dating a girl from at BYU Hawaii, she's part Tahitian. And so when she went, I was like, hey, can you pick me up for, I heard they sell these big Tahitian pearls and for like 20 bucks. And she's like, yeah, okay. And so I gave her 40, right? And she brought me back this huge bag of Tahitian pearls. And so I had some necklaces made for my mom and my sister. And my mom still wears it today. She loves it. She's
Oh
like, Mom,
my gosh. Yeah, of course she does. What is your
yeah.
necklace?
Something I got from like I went to Unleash the Power Within Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah.
It was
Reminded
like
you.
yeah, it looks kind of like a Asian coin, like a Chinese coin.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Tony Robbins is awesome. That's good.
It is, yeah.
Transforming people's lives one person at a time.
Yeah, he changed my life. I was that Tahitian girl. I was real depressed because we were gonna get married. We were engaged to get married, and then I just got this bad feeling like we weren't supposed to get married, so we called it off. I called it off, and then I got real depressed after that. So I went to Vegas and was going to graduate school there, working as a magician at Circus and Caesar's Palace.
Uh-huh.
And then I watched Tony Robbins infomercial because he used to do the infomercials at night.
Well, I
And
remember.
yeah, and I ordered his like the CDs, and I listed them all in a month, and it was like, write down your goals. How much money do you want to make? And I wrote $36,000, because I was just out of college, and that was a lot of money. And so he said write down experience you want. And I was like, okay, go the Great Wall of China, climb Mount Fuji, ride elephants through the jungles of Thailand, and then go to the snow festival in northern Japan, Hokkaido. And then I got a job teaching in Japan that year, like a few months later, for 36,000. And then I hiked Mount Fuji, and then I went to the Great Wall of China, climbed it. I went and then I rode elephants to the jungles of Thailand to the waterfalls there. And then I went to the snow festivals in northern Japan, all within like 10 months of
What'd you
riding.
learn from that?
Oh, just the power of manifesting, the power of goals. Like
Yeah.
uh yeah, just writing something down and putting your grateful, having an attitude of gratitude and just writing it down and manifesting and then like visualizing it like a screen in the mind. You see it like a movie. Because in martial arts, when I was at the Olympic Training Center, they would teach us like visualize yourself on the award stand, win the championships, see the moves you're gonna do, like visualize it, you're doing the throws so fast. And so I mean it was things that I've been trained in like judo since I was a kid. But then he was like actually putting words to it, like, oh, people are actually training about this. Okay, cool. Like when the book The Secret came out too, I'm like, oh, awesome. Now it's written out for like everyday people because people would always say, oh, Scott, you're just lucky. You're just so lucky. Like you got a lucky. My uncle would say, oh, you got a lucky horseshoe shoved up your butt, right? But I was like, well, you write down the goal, you manifest it, you work towards it. It's not like you just write down. I mean, you have to put some effort into it too, right? But
Yeah, both. It's both.
yeah, yeah, you write down the
But
work.
your imagination doesn't know the difference. Your brain doesn't know the difference between your imagination and real life. So it's
Yeah.
very, very important.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
Hmm.
you visualize what you want, you hear it, you taste it, you feel it. You're like, yeah, you see it all, and then come true.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. You're
yeah.
awesome, dude. Thanks
You're
so
awesome
much
too.
for joining us. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you. We're born to be brave, and I'm thankful you're on here. And hopefully, we can do a deal together in the future sometime. And
yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm glad we're co-owners of that place. I think it's Garden City or something. Garden. That's where we were. I don't know. Somewhere in Tucson, south of
Oh yeah,
Tucson.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome. So anyway, thank you, my friend. I'm going to have John end it. Huh?
Okay.
Oh, Hidden Valley. Oh,
Hidden
Green
Green Valley,
Valley.
Green Valley.
Green
Yep, Green Valley.
Valley.
Yep.
Yeah, Hidden Valley's the ranch dressing.
Yeah, Green
Their
Valley.
marketing's pretty good. I thought of Hidden Valley.
Yep, that was quite an apartment building.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I'll have to tell you sometime. I'll
What
tell you
is
the
it?
story.
Go ahead.
I have to tell you that story sometime.
Is it a good one?
Oh,
Should
it's a
we?
way good one.
Well, let's put it on here.
Okay. Well, so I met someone at Race Fest last year,
Uh-huh.
and then when we were headed out to Green Valley, then she texted me. She said, "Hey, do you mind if I put my suitcase in your truck?" And I'm going the airport from the airport. I'm going to Uber to the Green Valley to the apartments. And I was like, "Oh, I'll just pick you up on the way. Like I'm almost like." And she's like, "Really? Okay." So I picked her up from the airport, and then like this hawk flew over us. And I was telling her like I own a drug rehab center. Like I have a lot of Navajo clients, and Navajos would say when a eagle or a hawk flies over, they're blessing your journey. And then she was like, "Oh, like I've been having all these coincidences with God lately. She's born in communist China, so I'm like, oh yeah. She'd tell me some of her experiences, and yeah, so I was like, yeah, that's from God, that's from God. And then yeah, I saw her again at Squat Up, and then Fun Launch, and then she ended up getting baptized in May. She like,
We
yeah.
went to her baptism.
Oh yeah, you were there. There you go.
I woke up the next, okay, so I saw, isn't this amazing how God connects all these dots? I
Yeah.
saw on her social media that Pace was flying out
Mm-hmm.
for her
Baptism.
baptism.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was so excited. And then I woke up that morning. She posted when it was and where it was, right? And I woke up that morning and God said, when I was saying my prayers, you should go to to Irene's
That's
baptism, right?
right. You were there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I told John, you better look at some plane tickets. I feel like we're supposed to go to her baptism. I've just met her briefly at a few things, right?
Oh yeah, he's been at the apartments in Tucson.
Yeah.
Good time,
And
remember?
and so John looks up the plane tickets and it's like crazy expensive because you need to get on a plane like right now or this
Yeah.
after soon to get up there.
Uh-huh.
And so I had said, John, look up how long it would take us to drive up there. And if we left in like 10 or 15 minutes, we
Yeah.
could barely make it. But that's with no problems. No,
Yeah.
like wow, it's going to be tight. And then partway there, because I drink a lot of water, I had to go
Uh-huh.
to the bathroom so bad I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, you have to pull over. I have to go pee. And
Yeah.
John's like, we're going to be late if we do that. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to die. I won't make it.
Uh,
And it's so funny. So then I kept praying that we would make it because we were going to be late. And when we got there, the person that was giving the baptism talk was still talking, and
oh,
we didn't miss it. And we
oh,
snuck
cool.
in there and saw it, and then and Pace got up and spoke, and it was just beautiful. And I
Yeah.
just love her so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, why are these members of the church leaders of like, Pace, Subto, and then like at Fun Launch, I introduced her to the leader, Bridger, and then his brother, John
I,
Pennington. And then she's like,
are they members also?
yeah, they're members, and
Mhm.
he served his mission Mandarin speaking in Taiwan. And so he's speaking to her in Mandarin, and she's like, why do you speak Mandarin? Oh, I serve mission for my church. And then I introduced her to his brother John. Why do you speak Mandarin? Oh, I serve a mission in Toronto, Mandarin speaking. And then yeah, and then after that she was like, okay, I'm going to your church. And I was like, okay, Google it. And then the first ward she went to was like Spanish speaking. And then so then she Googled another place, and then she went to another one. She sent me a picture, and it was all men. And I go, I think you're in like elders quorum. Why don't you go to where the women are in Relief Society? She's like, oh no, I don't like women. I want to be here with the men. And so I was like, just go. It's okay. So she went over there and she met the missionaries, and then the missionaries like, hey, you should go to the Oakland Temple. And so then she went to the Oakland Temple, and then when she walked in, there's like a missionaries wearing the name badges in Mandarin and Chinese, and like, hey, the branch starts in 5 minutes. And so then after that, she's like, all right, I'm getting baptized. And 2 weeks later, she got baptized, and 2 weeks later, she's at the temple. So I was like, man, you're like on the fast track. And she's like, why did I do it wrong? I'm like, I've never heard anybody find in the church, go to church, get baptized, and go to the temple all within the month, 1 month, less than a month of May.
It's pretty cool, right? It
Yeah.
all lines up. God was lining up all the pieces.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, it's just
Mhm.
like, oh, that's a coincidence. I tell her, coincidences are just like signs from God. It's like,
I call them miracles. Miracles are my
miracles.
normal, and everything's always working out for me is my,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
call them like God winks or like
Mhm.
these reoccurring thoughts that come to us. They're
Yeah.
inspiration, because I really don't believe in coincidences for me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
I believe God is the Holy Spirit or God, whatever you call that, is prompting us or pushing us or nudging us in a direction.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I didn't know that you were connected to her baptism.
Yep. Yep. It was like, all right, there's too many quizzes. All right, I gotta.
That is amazing, right? Yeah, I remember when I met her, she was wearing a white dress. She had a really nice white creamy dress
Oh yeah.
on.
Yep.
Because I'm like, oh, she's dressed really nice,
Yeah.
for this. Isn't that funny? Oh, I'm so glad you shared that story too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to have we'll have John maybe chop this one in two because it was
Yeah.
so good. But thank you so much. And I do hope people remember that you were born to be brave. This is not your practice life. Get out there and do it. Start taking that imperfect action and get going, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Y-
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Appreciate you.
Huh?
Appreciate you. Thanks. It was fun.
Yeah, that was really good.